In today's video, I'm going to show you how to refinish this external wood and get it in good condition with a full coat of Spar Varnish. So I had started this project a couple years ago, and I sanded a little bit and put a little varnish down. And then, after many years, it has worn out, and then we need to redo this. Now in this section over here, I never sanded it, never got around to doing it. So I did a little test section here yesterday, and it goes all the way around here. So the issue is that there's nothing protecting the wood right now, and because it's been exposed, there's cupping. So at every joint, it goes up, and then it goes down, and it goes up and down, and etc., etc. And so if you just put a random orbital sander on here, what's going to happen is it's going to look like this. So, and this was just a test with a random orbital. So where it's flat, it can get it, and then it can't get it here. And the reason is that at these joints, due to being exposed to the weather, it's all warped. So our first task is to get the floor not only sanded, but flat. And so I'm going to do that next. Now the material is fir. So fir is fairly soft. It's not like oak or maple. And so you got to be pretty careful if you're doing a fir floor. So this is an antique house. It's over 120 some odd years old, something like that. And so that's how they did it back then. And so let's get out a sander and we'll start flattening the floor. Now the first thing I want to do is test the grits. Since this is a softwood, I don't want to be too aggressive with it. So I have all the way from 36 to probably 150 or 180. And so currently there's 36 in there. I might do a little test. But with a belt sander, you got to be careful because it'll get away from you pretty quickly. And it'll introduce some pretty deep scratches into this soft wood. So just going to do is just a little bit of it. I'm just going to go ahead and use my regular respirator. Yeah, that's working. So as you can see, I've got the sander at a bit of an angle, and this is to bridge between the boards and get those highs off. If you go straight first, it's really hard to get that flat, and so unfortunately you have to do this at a bit of an angle. But we'll fix those scratches later on. Now that the floor is pretty much done as far as being flattened, the next stage is to prepare for the finish. Now, I had to go at a slight angle in order to take out these highs with this 36 grit sandpaper, and that's pretty common in the flooring procedure. But the problem is that it introduces these scratches. And so now that the floor is flat from here to here, now we need to go through vertically with that same grit and take out those scratches before we move on to a random orbital sander. So I will do that next. The belt sander cannot get close to the wall, so what I'm going to do is take my random orbital 5-inch sander here with 36 grit and then go along the edge and take out that last little bit that the belt sander couldn't reach. At this point, I'm ready to switch to a random orbital floor sander, and then I'll start out with a fairly coarse 40 grit and then switch to 100 grit and get it ready for the floor finish. Now I'm ready to put on the Spar Varnish, and it's such a small porch that I'm just going to use a big old brush and just start at the far corner and work my way out. And we're going to get a couple coats on here and fix this floor. Alright, so the varnish has been on for a couple of hours, and as you can see, it's still drying. We've got light and dark spots, and it's not perfect, but it sure is a lot better than it was. And what I'll probably do is tomorrow put another coat of varnish on and build up some protection for that. So anyway, that was quite a job. So hope you found that helpful, and I'll see you next time.